Where's your mask?
Something is shifting in the Ryan Reynolds machine, and for once, it's not scripted. The man who turned self-deprecating tweets into a billion-dollar brand, the guy who roasted his wife for fun and built Deadpool into a global franchise, is suddenly being viewed in a very different light. Not as charming, not as quirky, but now more as calculating. And it all starts with his wife's lawsuit. Blake Lively's legal war with director Justin Baldoni was supposed to be her battle, her voice, her moment. But the more court filings pile up, the more it looks like Ryan Reynolds was never just watching from the sidelines. He may have been running the playbook. Now he's being accused of power moves, PR stunts, and pulling strings behind the scenes to help destroy Baldoni's career. And the internet is starting to wonder, was Ryan Reynolds Hollywood's nice guy? Or just the best at pretending? Let's rewind. When Blake accused Justin Baldoni of harassment on the set of It Ends With Us, the media swarmed. Her claims were serious, specific. The New York Times published an investigative piece that lent credibility to her version of events. Baldoni's agency dropped him, producers ghosted. His name was radioactive, and at the time, it looked like his career was over. But then, he fired back with a lawsuit. Not just against Blake, but against Ryan Reynolds. According to Baldoni, Blake and Ryan didn't just accuse him, they orchestrated a hit job. They allegedly worked together to take control of the film's narrative, push out Baldoni as the director, and position themselves as the true creative forces behind the project. The accusation? Blake wanted power. Ryan had it, and Baldoni was in the way. Sounds messy, but Baldoni brought receipts. He launched a website with hundreds of pages of evidence, texts, call logs, emails, even video footage. It wasn't just a legal defense, it was a PR war in reverse. And buried in those documents were moments that changed how people viewed Ryan Reynolds forever. Let's start with the now infamous personal trainer story. Blake claimed Baldoni fat-shamed her on set, specifically that he called her personal trainer to make a point, suggesting she needed to lose weight after having a baby. But Baldoni's version is very, very different. He says the trainer wasn't for Blake at all. It was his trainer. He brought the guy to set to help prep for a physical scene where he had to lift Blake. He says he simply asked the trainer her weight so he could train accordingly and avoid injury due to his history of back problems. Not to be offensive, just to be safe. But here's where it escalates. Not long after, the trainer is called to Blake and Ryan's house. He shows up, and Ryan is waiting. And Ryan? He is furious. According to court filings, he confronted the trainer, accused him of fat-shaming, and made it crystal clear that any further disrespect wouldn't be tolerated. The trainer left, shaken, and Baldoni says he was forced to issue multiple apologies despite having done nothing wrong. That's when people started asking, was Ryan Reynolds defending his wife? Or flexing his influence? Because in Hollywood, there's a fine line between support and power. And Ryan allegedly crossed it again. In one meeting tied to the film, Blake pushed for a specific scene to be added. Baldoni said no, it didn't fit the tone. It wasn't aligned with the rest of the movie. He stood his ground. But then Ryan Reynolds shows up. Not on set. At a private gathering where Taylor Swift just happened to be there, Blake floats the scene idea again. Ryan and Taylor praise it. And suddenly, Baldoni is really outnumbered by some celebrity heavyweights. Feeling pressured and cornered, the scene goes in. Baldoni starts feeling like a guest on his own film. This isn't speculation, it's all laid out in filings. And while Blake's legal team insists these were informal suggestions, Baldoni paints a very different picture. Ryan Reynolds was ghost directing the movie from the shadows. And then it got worse. Baldoni says Ryan didn't just influence the movie, he allegedly got Baldoni dropped by his talent agency. The accusation is subtle but serious. Baldoni claims his sudden firing from a top-tier agency wasn't just fallout, it was a quiet power move from someone with clout, someone who knew which levers to pull, someone like Ryan Reynolds. And that's when the good guy mask started to slip. Because once these details hit the internet, Ryan's reputation began to shift. Not with headlines, with whispers, with fans pointing out the sudden staged photo ops, the timing of press releases, the suspiciously well-timed paparazzi moments, like that viral video of Ryan signing autographs for fans. At first, it looked wholesome, Ryan smiling, being gracious. But eagle-eyed viewers noticed something weird. The fans looked like pro autograph dealers, guys who sell signed posters for cash. They were suspiciously organized. The timing was convenient. And the clip dropped right when media pressure on Blake's lawsuit was peaking. Fans accused Ryan of staging it. His team denied it, but the damage was done. People didn't see Deadpool anymore. They saw damage control. The kind of slick, sterilized PR maneuvering that feels more desperate than authentic. And that's the real shift here. Because Ryan's entire brand, his empire, is built on being relatable. He's the guy who makes fun of himself, who drags his wife playfully on social, who makes even billion-dollar business deals feel casual. But when you strip all of that away, what you're left with, at least according to Baldoni's legal filings, is a man who knows how to manipulate perception, who uses his charm like a scalpel, who plays Hollywood like a chessboard. And fans are starting to feel it. Producers too. There's no official blacklist, no smoking gun, but sources say Ryan's name is starting to appear on soft no lists, industry slang for don't call him unless you absolutely have to. He's not canceled. He's worse. He's becoming a liability. Because now, every studio has to ask, if we hire Ryan, are we getting Deadpool or a lawsuit waiting to happen? And that's not a question you want attached to your brand. Especially when the man himself refuses to address the elephant in the room.
What would ever happen to me?
Ryan hasn't commented on the lawsuit, hasn't made a statement, hasn't shown up in court. He's just floating above it, doing Wrexham interviews, posting gym pics, pretending this isn't happening. But the internet doesn't forget. And neither does Hollywood. Because once you go from relatable to reputation risk, you don't get many second chances. Just ask every charming male lead who flew too close to the sun. This isn't about who's right or wrong in court. It's about what the audience sees. And right now, the audience sees a man with influence, playing puppet master from the shadows, and trying to grin his way through a very public reckoning. That charm, it used to be his superpower. Now, it looks like a shield. And it's cracking. So maybe Ryan Reynolds isn't the villain. Maybe he's just the guy who forgot the golden rule of fame. If you build your brand on being the nice guy, don't get caught playing dirty. Because no one likes a fake hero. And in a courtroom, nobody's laughing.
Guilty on all charges, Your Honor.